A woman accuses her black neighbor of being a trespasser in his own home. With one phone call, she turns his peaceful evening into a public humiliation. But what she doesn't know, the man she just tried to destroy holds more power than she could ever imagine. And when the truth comes out, the fallout will be unforgettable. The evening was crisp and quiet, the kind of peaceful suburban night where porch lights flickered gently, illuminating neatly trimmed lawns and quiet streets. Malik Thompson, a tall, broad-shouldered man in his early 30s, parked his black SUV in the driveway of his modest yet beautifully maintained home. The neighborhood was diverse on paper, but still carried subtle reminders that not everyone always felt welcome. Tonight, Malik just wanted to unwind after a long shift. As an off-duty police officer and community advocate, his days were often filled with challenges. But home was supposed to be different, a place where he could breathe, relax, and simply be. He stepped out of the car, adjusting the strap of his gym bag over his shoulder, and glanced up at the clear night sky. The neighborhood was still dressed in festive holiday lights, a faint glow shimmering from rooftops and trees. Malik loved this time of year, a reminder of warmth and togetherness, at least in theory. But tonight would be anything but peaceful. As we dive into this story, let us know where you're watching from in the comments, and be sure to hit the subscribe button if you fin. A valuable lesson in this story. Malik had barely reached his front steps when he heard the unmistakable sound of hurried footsteps behind him. "Hey! Hey you!" A woman's voice called out sharply. Malik turned slowly, his brows furrowing as he spotted a middle-aged woman marching toward him from across the street. She wore a puffy beige coat and clutched her phone tightly in one hand, her face twisted in a mix of fear and indignation. "What are you doing here?" she demanded, her voice loud and oof to echo down the quiet street. Malik blinked, momentarily caught off guard. "Excuse me?" "I said," she repeated, stepping closer. "What are you doing here?" "You've been following me. I saw you driving around earlier, circling the block." Malik sighed inwardly, already sensing where this was going. He kept his voice calm and even. "Ma'am, I live here. This is my house." The woman's eyes narrowed suspiciously. "Your house? You're right. You're lying." She glanced pointedly at his SUV and then back at him. "You don't belong here." Malik's grip tightened around his gym bag, but he forced himself to stay composed. "I'm not sure what you mean," he said slowly, "but I'm just trying to get inside my home and call it a night." She shook her head, her voice rising with each word. "No, I don't think so. You're harassing people around here. I have kids, and I'm not going to let some stranger threaten my family." Malik took a slow, steady breath. "Look, I'm not here to cause any trouble. I can show you my ID if that helps." But she wasn't listening. Instead, she raised her phone and began dialing. "I'm calling the police," she announced triumphantly, as though she'd just solved a major crime. Malik's jaw clenched. The irony wasn't lost on him. A black man accused of being a threat in front of his own home, now waiting for police backup. And the kicker? He was the police. It didn't take long for the patrol car to arrive, lights flashing silently as it pulled up to the curb. 2-1. Informed officers stepped out, their hands resting casually on their belts. Malik recognized one of them instantly. Officer Ramirez, a younger cop he'd mentored during training. Ramirez's eyes widened slightly when he saw Malik. "Thompson? What's going on here?" Before Malik could respond, the woman interjected. "This man's been harassing me. He's been lurking around the neighborhood, and now he's pretending this is his house." Ramirez exchanged a glance with his partner, clearly confused. Ma'am, are you sure?" "Of course I'm sure," she snapped. "Look at him." Ramirez cleared his throat awkwardly. "Ma'am, this is Officer Malik Thompson. He's with the department." The woman's face went pale. "Wait, what? Yeah, Ramirez continued, his tone gentler now. He lives here. I've been to his house before. Silence hung heavy in the air as the weight of her mistake sank in. Malik crossed his arms, his expression unreadable. Still think I don't belong? He asked quietly. The woman stammered, her bravado crumbling. I didn't know. I mean, it was dark and I couldn't tell. Ramirez stepped forward, his voice firm. Ma'am, it's important to be careful before making accusations like this. Officer Thompson is a respected member of this community. Malik held up a hand. It's fine, Ramirez. He turned to the woman, his voice steady but pointed. I get it. You were scared. But maybe next time, instead of assuming the worst, try asking a question first. Her lips parted as if to respond, but no words came out. She looked down, embarrassed and visibly shaken. As the officers prepared to leave, Ramirez gave Malik a small nod of respect. Sorry about that, man. Malik shrugged. Not your fault. Just another day, right? When the patrol car pulled away, the street fell silent once more. The woman lingered for a moment, fidgeting. Awkwardly before finally speaking. I'm sorry, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I really didn't mean to. I just thought. Malik met her gaze, his expression softening just a fraction. Just be better, he said simply. That's all I ask. She nodded wordlessly before turning and walking away. Malik watched her go, the tension in his chest slowly easing. He knew this wouldn't be the last time he faced something like this. But tonight he'd stood his ground, not just as a homeowner or a police officer, but as a man who refused to be defined by someone else's fears. And that was enough. If you enjoyed this story, hit the subscribe button and stick around for more stories of perseverance and success. Share your story in the comments below. This story isn't just about Malik or the woman who misjudged him. It's a reflection of the biases that persist in our society. Biases that can only be dismantled through awareness, understanding, and courage. So the next time you fin, do yourself making a snap judgment. Ask yourself, am I seeing the whole picture? Or just the story I've been told to believe? Because respect starts with recognition. And recognition begins with seeing people for who they truly are.